where, wherever, wherever. Where's my R's at? Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. Thank you once again for joining me on these videos. It's become my daily routine, and in this video I'll tell you about 11,000 foreigners set to be deported from the Philippines. Manila airport breaks records for number of travelers and more, beginning with the USD to peso exchange rate, still looking at 57.8 per the dollar. And I'd like to start by thanking OG Fred for buying me 5 coffees and saying, keep up the great work. I am your #1 fan. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. It definitely motivates me to continue making these videos. Let's get straight into our top story. More than 11,000 foreign nationals set for deportation. The Bureau of Immigration said that it is set to deport a total of 11,254 foreign nationals involved in POGO operations in the country. If you don't know, POGOs are like Philippines offshore gaming operations, gambling basically. The BI Commissioner Joe Anthony Villado said that out of the 33,600 POGO employees under PACOR, 24,000 downgraded their visas. A total of 22,000 left the country before the December 31st deadline. Villado also said that they are deporting those who did not downgrade and leave the country before the deadline, as well as those who downgraded but still failed to leave. The commissioner also said that companies are obliged to surrender their POGO workers who remain in the country and warned that if they attempt to hide said workers, they may be sued by the BI for harboring illegal aliens. Quote, I have ordered our intelligence division to initiate the search for those at large, said Villado. They are considered illegal aliens now. Expect an intensified manhunt against these illegal aliens. The order of the president is clear. No more POGOs in the Philippines. Foreign nationals who continue to disobey this will be arrested, deported, and blacklisted. No exceptions. All right, so the message is very clear. If you're in the Philippines illegally, you have to leave, basically. So the president gave the order by December 31st. Everybody gotta go, right? So if you're still sticking around, I recommend maybe leave and come back under the appropriate visa, tourist visa, because I initially thought that once you downgrade from the working visa to a tourist visa, maybe they'll be able to stay here for 3 years, basically like you and I, but I don't think that's the case anymore. And then in a related story, Senator Risa Hontiveros has voiced support for the Office of the Solicitor General's efforts to revoke fraudulent birth certificates used by foreigners to assume Filipino identities. This issue gained attention after the case of Alice Guo. A former mayor of Tarlac revealed a pattern of foreigners forging Philippine birth certificates, often linked to POGOs. Once again, Hontiveros urged vigilance against such practices, emphasizing the need to address illegal activities. And this is in regards to all these mainly Chinese nationals that come here and basically buy Filipino, so they get actual legit documents, but they're obviously not Filipinos. Now they've been caught by forging birth certificates, mainly I think in the southern part of the Philippines. But glad to see Risa Hontiveros, one of my favorite political peoples in the Philippines, just based off like mainstream media. She seems to be very vigilant. Great to see that she's doing her job to try to prevent illegal activity in her country. Next up, in 2024, Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Manila has set a new record by accommodating 50.1 million passengers, surpassing its pre-pandemic peak of 47.9 million in 2019. This growth represents 5% increase compared to 2019, with flight operation reaching 293,000, an 8% rise. NAIA's capacity was originally designed for 35 million passengers annually, but rising demand signals a strong recovery from COVID, which had drastically reduced passenger traffic to 11 million in 2020. By 2022, numbers had rebounded to 31 million, now to 45 by 2023. The airport, now operated by San Miguel-led new NAIA Infrastructure Corp, reported improved on-time performance, with 88% of flights running punctually on New Year's Eve. The NNIC aims to modernize NAIA and enhance its efficiency to support tourism and economic growth. However, recent operational changes like hiking overnight parking fees have sparked public debate. I'm still all for it. Still, it's going to cost money to make improvements, so as long as the money they're charging for parking actually goes towards improving the airports, I'm all for that. I've personally seen slight improvements already. So like we talked about earlier this year, or last year, I guess by now, they're already looking to improve the power grid for that place. As you may or may not know, NAIA experienced a lot of power outs and outages and different terminals, so it cannot maintain the required, like for example, running air conditioning and all that. So I'm glad they're doing whatever they can to go ahead and improve the place, especially if it's going to be a rise in numbers. Once again, just a reminder, this is not international tourists. The Philippines still did not meet its goal of 7 million Filipino, 7.7 passengers. So they just fell short. They reached about 70% of their goal, just over 5 million. So this is just mainly domestic travel, right? So that 50 million, only about 45 million of those are actually local. Still a lot of traffic. They're doing their best to go ahead and improve NAIA. A country that has no problem hosting so many people and travelers, Thailand welcomed 35 million tourists in 2024, generating 1.6 trillion baht in revenue according to the Ministry of Tourism and Sports. The largest number of visitors came from China, followed by Malaysia, India, South Korea, and Russia. While domestic tourism also saw strong activity, international arrivals peaked in the final week of December, marking the highest weekly rate since 2020. Despite the impressive numbers, officials noted that revenue fell short of the trillion baht target due to global economic challenges and gaps in tracking online spending. However, the tourism sector still recorded 25% increase compared to 2023. I'm a little surprised based on those countries, not so much China, but some of the other places. India, I guess because the visa free, now they have that. So kind of cool to see, but not too many Western countries surprisingly in that list. But then again, it makes sense. Malaysia is bordering Thailand and people just hop on over for even a weekend getaway. So cool to see Thailand keeping track of these stuff. Still 25% increase is a lot when it comes to revenue. I think trillion, maybe 3 trillion was a bit too optimistic. People could be spending without really the government being able to track it. There's so much going on. Speaking of that, a lot of illegal activities do be happening in Thailand. I don't want to cover any of the stories. It's just too much right now. But, you know, having 35 million people, it's going to have a few people that are not going to follow the rules. But it was too graphic and violent and all that. You can do your own little research about Thailand news recently. But nothing too much that would affect you guys watching this. And one more story from the Philippines before we go ahead into the comment section. My bad, 2 more stories. The Quezon City government on Thursday has introduced 6 new electric buses to its free ride service. These e-buses will operate along Quezon Bus Route 1 between Quezon City Hall and Cubao beginning January 2nd, 2025. That's pretty cool. Free bus service. I'm not really sure about the details. If you guys are living in that area, please let me know. How does that work? Can anybody just simply hop on these buses and get a free ride between those 2 destinations? Because that'll be pretty awesome, right? Public transportation, especially for locals or those people that commute to work or wherever regularly. Wherever. Where's my R's at? Wherever. I still can't say it. Wherever. Where's my R today? Wherever. The coffee, that's what it is. And then Vietnam birth rate fell to a record low of 1.91 in 2024, raising concerns about economic sustainability and aging populations. Officials are drafting policies to stabilize fertility rates, addressing gender imbalances, and improving healthcare access. Without intervention, Vietnam's population could start shrinking by mid-century. Yeah, always a concern when it comes to aging populations and birth rates. You know, Japan went through a similar thing about 10 years ago. Even China, when they went through the whole one-child policy. And also the Philippines, they actually, for the first time in a very long time, their birth rate has dropped, reduced. And so not just Vietnam, looks like a lot of Asian countries are catching up to maybe, I don't want to say Western lifestyle, but people just want to seem to be living for themselves. It could be a combination of cost of living, prices, not being optimistic about the future, regional conflicts and all that. People just don't want to have kids to the same level as they once did. And now time for our segment Yesterday Today, where I read some of the most popular comments regarding our previous video. The 2x6 has been in Mindanao 1.5 years. Northeast Mindanao, extremely safe, great people, less expensive as many other areas. Great to hear. Yesterday, Japan lifted its advisory, or at least changed it, saying that parts of Mindanao are safe now. And I asked you guys to go ahead and share your experiences. So thank you for letting me know your experiences in that region of Mindanao. Todd Crumpler says, safety is an illusion. Most places are considered safe until they are not. Always be aware of your surroundings and potential danger. Be proactive, not reactive, no matter where you are, even at home. Now get out there and have some fun, or have fun. So thank you, Todd. I agree with you. It's always the case. Of course, you can do a lot of stuff that's within your own control to go ahead and minimize some of those dangers. And then JJ Lando Landria says, in Mindanao, the safe areas, Davao City, Bukidnon, Cagayan, Dinagat Island, Socorro Island, Hinatuan, Bisilig, Tandag City, Caguet, Lanuza, and Surigao City. A lot of those names I have difficulty saying out loud, but yeah, thank you for sharing. Once again, these could be down to individual experiences based on your lifestyle. What are you up to? And it comes down to like a whole bunch of factors. And that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching and being part of my daily routine now that I'm making these videos on a regular basis. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Of these birth certificates. Birth certificates.